Imagine you are in Atlanta and you receive a message on your phone from Starbucks. It invites you to get a free cup of coffee on the house. But instead of a generic promo, the notification reads as follows. Hey, ATL! We know the World Cup traffic on the connector is already wild today. Take a breath from the soccer frenzy. Your next iced coffee at our Ponce de Leon store is on us. We are the A. How would that feel? Welcome to Hyperlocalization, where marketeers and localization specialists don't work on a country or language level anymore, but on a hyperlocal communication layer, powered by generative AI and language tech. Today, we are opening the doors of Atlanta, together with my guest and local Locklunch ambassador, Milijana Trobradovic. In this episode, we'll learn about the city, an entrepreneur from the language industry, and a community leader. So, let's go. Milijana, welcome on the show.
Thank you, Jan. So if I'm to receive this message, I will cringe just a little bit. And let me tell you just a couple of things. There are a lot of things, unfortunately, wrong in that message, but just a couple of things. One is...
This was AI.
Yeah, so it's ATL. We as the locals, we do not use that. We know for sure that you are a tourist if you start using ATL. The second thing is thinking that we are already in a soccer frenzy, or even that when we have FIFA events that we will be in a soccer frenzy. We are a city of so many sports. Baseball is big here with the Braves. Falcons are here. Yes, Atlanta United is getting bigger, but it's more for just a portion of our city. So if you're a Starbucks, you might want to reach a wider audience. But we will take a free coffee, though.
That is great. This is exactly why we are here at Locklunch Expresso, because we're diving into all this. What is Atlanta and what is the language industry and why it's important to listen to local specialists like you. So if you look at Atlanta, what is the DNA of Atlanta for you?
Oh, it's so many things. I have been here a very, very long time, decades. And I love this city. It's, it's a birthplace of civil rights movement and Martin Luther King. African American community is very rich with the history. Like big Black businesses have started here a long time ago, and they still have that rich. And then the music. And now we have Hollywood coming here, making movies. We have all these sports. I mean, anything that you want to do in this city, it's right here. We really don't need to go anywhere else. So it's so rich.
This is Outcast, right? Outcast is there. There's Julia Roberts comes to my mind.
Yeah, she's from Marietta, from Smyrna, Georgia. Yeah, no, we have a lot of people from here. A couple of people from a soccer national teams are from not too far from here. And then we, as the immigrants and refugees, we also bring another layer of diversity in this city. So many languages spoken here in our city. Then we have big businesses. Coca-Cola is here. And I mean, almost
like Coca-Cola. I just thought about that. Coca-Cola. It's is it Delta Airlines?
Delta Airlines, definitely. Okay. One of the big.
Home Depot is also from
is from here. A lot of businesses, but also we have a headquarters of a lot of international businesses. That are here. French, German are very represented in our city, and rest of them, as well. And I think partially is because of a climate. The climate,
because it's sort of called the Manhattan of the South.
Yes.
The South, because it's very southwards, right? In the United States.
Yes, and also it's because of this combination of diversity. We have international businesses that bring their own talent, and then we have immigration and refugees coming in, like all refugee agencies are here. And then since it's warm, people want to live in a warm climate. You don't have to spend too much money for heat. It's a nice weather, so people are friendly. Everybody, there is that southern hospitality. So it's so many things that our city has to offer.
Yeah, that sounds excellent. And there's companies that comes also to my mind, like MailChimp or OneTrust. Is there
Calendly,
Calendly?
yeah.
Is there BitPaid? There's a couple of tech startups as well. And I understand that from your role, because you are a talent manager, you are a talent scout. Is that the right name for you? So tell me a little bit about, what are companies looking for right now in Atlanta and abroad in the language industry, because this industry is changing a lot now with AI. Tell us a little bit from your perspective, from a talent perspective.
Yeah, so it's really our industry is changing as actually rest of the kind of industries together. We're all affected by AI, some with other changes. I think as companies are changing and companies are really trying to figure out how to implement AI, how to best implement but still keep the talent. Different companies are implementing different strategies, and then talent has to adapt to that. So what am I seeing as being in a talent management, especially in localization, is there are a lot of roles. There are a lot of, we as a language talent pool, we run a job board, so we see constantly roles repeating. Because and there are still at the other hand, there are a lot of talent out there, so there is that disconnect of companies are looking for something and talent is there, but talent is either not representing themselves in the best way, or they do not have a skills that the employers are looking for now. So AI skills, AI literacy is very, very important. So all of us, including me and and everybody else, we need to know what is going on with what in our branches. Me in recruiting, I'm trying to keep up with that to make sure that I know what is going on. So same goes for the language professionals. So what I would say that in our industry, we have to take our careers into our hands. It used to be we were very reactive. You go to work, you do what your employer tells you. You try to to be visible, but not too visible maybe. But nowadays, you have to take the career into your hands, make sure that you are visible, that you are trying to tell, and you need to become valuable. And you need to figure out in your industry, in your role, in your company, in your business, what does that mean? What does that mean to be valuable? How can you be valuable to your customers, to your employer? So you have to, we hear a lot of complaints. Oh, AI is taking jobs. Yes, it is taking jobs. But the reality is taking jobs from everyone. So we are not special. So we need to, again, you have to look where you are and become the best. As they say, they'll pay you as you are valuable. So I cannot say, oh, I finished this college, I had this role, I worked at Google, I worked at Netflix. Well, so what? But what are you bringing? What is there are a lot of people that work at Netflix as you, but what makes you special? So we need to all become look at our careers again and decide for us. And at same time, as you make yourself valuable, as you progress in your career, you are valuable to your customers and to your employer.
I see. So when you talk about this change of mindset, what are your clients asking for specifically in terms of positions right now? Are they still hiring like project managers? Are they hiring for AI analysts, post editors. What are your clients hiring for right now?
Most of the clients, I mean, it kind of just depends where the clients are too, because you have clients on a different
And
level.
who they are, right?
Yeah, so it's if we are talking about technical companies, we are talking about big companies, Tesla, Netflix, all these companies are actually hiring for localization roles. But the most popular roles, as always, are PMs, localization project managers. But they are looking more for people that have AI skills are almost a must. If you do not have some kind of exposure with AI, with AI, whatever your industry or whatever that industry is or portion of the industry, you are not you will be at the bottom of the pile. So
On the recruiting
yes,
pile.
a recruiting pile. So what it has like 2 years ago been like something super extra, now it's kind of almost something that it's must. I had recently was hiring for one of the LSPs here. Even the smaller LSPs are looking into someone that already dipped their toes in AI. The other role that is really coming, and there like more and more, is business development, account managers with the
Okay,
business
so
development.
sales.
Every
Okay.
company is hiring for that. All LSPs are hiring for that, and that is really not easy. It's not easy to find someone that has an experience in localization and language services industry and also has that sales experience. So if I'm to really advise anyone what to do, learn more how to sell, learn more how to, because those roles are on the horizon. I mean, we do have vendor management roles, recruitment roles, translation roles. All those roles are there. But again, PM and business development, accounting, account, manager. Those are the big. This is
I can confirm this. This is something at Beluga also. It is growing. It is an art. You need to learn it. So this is cool advice. Milijana, you are also a Locklunch ambassador of Atlanta. How did you come to become a Locklunch ambassador, and what is how would you describe Locklunch Atlanta?
So that's kind of interesting story. When I started being in the beginning of my journey, I was more in interpreting side of our industry, and then almost 10 years ago, maybe less, I was offered the role at Deluxe as a manager, vendor manager, and I have to admit, at that point, I did not know much about localization, but I was so excited, and they were willing to give me opportunity. So I was looking in every possible way how to learn about localization. And then I posted out there on LinkedIn, the first our first meeting.
Absolutely.
Called couple of friends that I know from the language industry. They joined. First time we had 3 people. A month ago we had 20 people, and we have
Wow.
30 people on the list that kind of keep coming, coming and going. We have a group of 15 people that kind of show up every day, every time.
Regulars.
And then we have people
Wonderful.
kind of rotating, when they can. What happened with our group is there are also a lot of interpreters in our group, because interpreting is very lonely profession. You go, you interpret, you come back, and you're by yourself. So, and your husband and your friends, they don't want to listen about you, who you interpreted for, how difficult it was, how can you. So this group actually helps each other. Very supportive group. I mean, I have to give them a shout out. They are such a wonderful individuals. And I know the rest of the local lunch communities I see on LinkedIn, it's a very unique a concept, and they're very unique groups.
Milijana, from a perspective of a talent manager, right? What would you recommend your peers in Atlanta in this uncertain AI future? how should they, what should they do in this evolving city of Atlanta? How can they position themselves for the future?
So since I work with a lot of freelance talent, and even some localization talent in the city, as we mentioned, we are such an immigrant community. So, when we were talking about this, hyper local, I do have a little spin that I would like to introduce on that, because what we are seeing here in our city and in a lot of cities around the US, you have these vibrant immigrant communities and a lot of small businesses. And these businesses are started by immigrants. Some of them, their English is great. Some maybe not. They're just want open the business to serve their community. You are not just
Right.
going out there to provide interpretation and provide a translation. You should treat your craft as a business. That means you need to start looking outside of the agencies. Outside, especially for translators, they are struggling these days finding work, finding, clients. This might be something that you might want to do. Look around
I value
and
what
see.
you mentioned before. It's a value-added service.
Yes, exactly.
Local language specialists are trained to do.
Yes, exactly. But you have to be open, and you can't come with, oh, I have a solution. Here I am, I'm a solution for you. No, I'm here to listen. What kind of solution do you need? And then employ my language specialist skills and help you grow your customer. So that is what I'm seeing, and that's what I would kind of advise everyone in my city and in the rest of the. And I think even Europe is becoming, Europe is multicultural.
This is hyperlocal. Hyperlocal is also looking, at the city and at this untapped potential
Yes,
we have all around. So, Milijana, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for the time, for the insights, for opening the doors to your city, to Atlanta. And I wish you all the best for the future. And thanks a lot for being here on the show.
thank you, and this was so great. I hope I represented my city the best that I can. And again, I love the city, love the South.
Oh, my pleasure. Milijana, you out there, listeners, you have heard it from her. Come to Locklunch Atlanta. It's a great community.
Yep.
It's a thriving community. It's a city that is booming, full of contrast, music, business, football, sports, whatever. Listen to her, get in touch with Milijana on LinkedIn, and of course, follow Locklunch Expressо Hyperlocal. And in our next episode, we will likely have Essence. So stay tuned and see you very soon. Thanks a lot.